You are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast. I'm Dylan Larck on Twitter. Here talking today in the latest in Auburn athletics news, as the last time we saw each other was Sunday and my very glitchy live stream. And since then, Auburn has picked up 5 transfers in this spring cycle. Of course, I do believe the transportal cycle has ended, at least it has for basketball. So I don't know. Transportal is weird, and just in general, off seasons are always weird. So Auburn picks up 5 guys in the portal, and I will also say just a little personal news. There's 3 shows, counting this one, 2 shows until I am a 1 year older. I will be 25 on Monday, April 28th. So shout out me. I'll probably think it's something to do for the birthday, something a little special. But talk about Auburn's transfer portal commitments. Now, we talked about, I think last week, discussing what Auburn needed to attack in the portal. What did they need? What was their shopping list going into the spring cycle? Because, of course, there were some holes to be filled. We've been throughout the spring. We saw what Auburn did well in the spring game, if you want to call it that. And, of course, what we've been hearing from media and just everyone around the Auburn sphere. So, starting off with the first one is Jay Hardy, the defensive tackle out of Liberty. Now, last season, limited playing time. I think he dealt with some injuries. He had 16 tackles, a pass deflection. But you go back to his previous year, 31 tackles. He had a pass deflection and 2 sacks. In his 3 years at Liberty, he always had a pass deflection. Actually, no, wrong one. First year at Liberty was 16 tackles. Second year, 31 tackles. A incline in production. Then last year dealt with some injuries, 7 tackles, but still managed to get a pass deflection. So, you kind of guess on that. Jay Hardy's name probably sounds familiar because he was a former Auburn Tiger before he transferred out to Liberty. Of course, he has said that he came back to Auburn because of Hugh Freeze. Now, what does this mean for Auburn's defensive line? And of course, I can go ahead and add on another guy in a second. Jay Hardy comes in at 6'3", 310 pounds as a senior, or a 5th-year senior at that. And basically for Auburn, this is an opportunity to have some veteran leadership in this defensive line. You're looking at who you got coming in. You have a lot of freshmen that are going to be stepping up. And, of course, we got guys like Malik Blocked, and they're going to be in there. You got to have some kind of veteran guy to kind of help move the needle. And of course you got Quancho Jamison Travis as well in there, or Bobby as he goes by, but you needed some more. You needed another, and you got 2 really. Do I think Jay Hardy's coming in to be a starter? I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think you pretty much have everything cemented, but the way DJ Durkin runs his defense, I'll kind of take this to kind of merge into the next guy, because he picked up 2 defensive linemen. You lost some players in the portal. I don't really think a defensive lineman was really lost in the portal. Not one I can think of. But I'll add into this guy too. I'll go into James Ash as well, just to kind of mix in him with Jay Hardy. James Ash, redshirt senior last year, going to his I guess 6th year of college, out of Florida A&M. Last season for the Vipers, Rattlesnakes, Rattlers. I don't know what FAMU is off the top of my head. I could probably find it if I was quick enough. But last year for FAMU, I think they're the Rattlers. I want to say they're Rattlers. If they're not, then I apologize. Last season for Florida A&M, he was all SWAC second team. He was ranked as the FCS's 19th best returning interior defensive lineman before the season, best in the SWAC. And of course, last year recorded 44 tackles, 3.5 tackles for a loss, 2.5 sacks, and 2 hurries. He had 4 games where he had 5+ tackles and recorded a season-high 9 tackles and a tackle for a loss with a sack in a win versus Southern. And again, with the guy being 6'4", 280, that's what you're looking at, another defensive lineman. Again, with Jay Hardy and you add in James Ash, you got 2 veteran guys that you're cementing your defensive line with. You have all this young talent coming in. You have the guys that are returning from last year. You're looking to develop all these guys over time, but you don't want to become heavily reliant. Like Malik Autry is going to be a legend. That's my pick. That's my media pick for who's going to be a legend from this 2025 class. Malik Autry is going to be legit, but you don't want to be heavily reliant on him right away. And he's going to demand snaps as Jordan Crawford. Blake Block is going to be in there too. Malik Block is more than likely going to be a starter in this defensive line. Jay Hardy and James Ash are giving you more bodies to put in there to rotate in and out to get some bigger dudes in there whenever you need them. And I think James Ash has a lot of energy. Of course, he was formerly at Wake Forest before transferring to Florida A&M. You got some guys with some size, and they are going to help build Auburn into the best defensive line in the SEC. So I think they're two great hires. They're two great pickups. I really think DJ Durkin did a great job. Coach Vaughn did a great job in the recruitment of getting two more pieces to what's already a very good defensive line. And even if you're going to go take a step back on the defense here, going to the linebackers. You also picked up a linebacker out of Maryland, which is kind of weird because I think Auburn did this like last year too. Another linebacker out of Maryland. Auburn likes to poke and prod at Maryland. It's kind of weird that they do that. I think they Gote, I think, was out of Maryland. You picked up Rico Walker out of Maryland. You got Preston Howard out of Maryland. Now you get Caleb Wheatland. So like a couple of years ago when FIU was like the feeder school to Auburn, Maryland is now the feeder school to Auburn. But Caleb Wheatland last season for the Terps, he registered 42 tackles, 18 assists, 2 pass deflections, and 4 sacks. Previous year, he had 41 tackles with a pass deflection and 3.5 sacks. Had a steady improvement. It's a steady improvement. Had a massive improvement from year 1 to year 2, but pretty steady production from year 2 to year 3. A leader in the making for Auburn's defense. We're looking here. This going to how he fits into the scheme here. Auburn's linebacker room right now. This was my number one spot Auburn needed to go after in the portal. If you look at who the starters are going to be, DeMarcus Riddick is a sophomore. Behind him is Robert Woodyard, who is going to be the other starter. He is a fourth year player. And then behind that, Elijah Melendez has been the next guy up. That's a true freshman. And of course, you got the DJ Barber and Joe Phillips and so on and so forth. But you needed some more veteran presence. When you come to the SEC, it is so hard to become so heavily reliant on having so many freshmen at so many intervals of the game. It becomes tiresome to have these freshmen all being the best players on the field. And I mean tiresome in a good and a bad way. Because the freshmen have they don't have the same tenacity that you see out of the older guys that understand the level of play. DeMarcus Riddick is an absolute dog, and he understood it right away, but you're not always going to get that. Elijah Melendez has been great through the spring, but how sure am I that he can be that good all the time as a true freshman, as the next guy up? I think Caleb Wheatland kind of fits into that role, and another guy who kind of fill in with making sure that there are veterans on the field at any given time. Again, as I said, with Durkin's defense, you were constantly rotating in and out. It as soon as the offense slows down or tries to take someone out, you got 4 guys coming in, 4 guys going out. If you got another play like that, you got 6 guys going in, 6 guys coming out. There's a constant rotation here. And that's why Durkin's defense worked so well last year, because you always had a fresh set of legs. But with Auburn's linebacker core right now, your fresh set of legs were guys who didn't have the experience going into the season. Right now, I mean, you really only got DeMarcus Riddick and Robert Woodyard. You need some other guys behind them. Wheatland fills that gap right away. So I think that's a massive pickup for just the mesh and the chemistry of the defense moving forward. And now we got the last 2 guys here going to switch over. I'm trying to go in chronological order here, but it might make sense for me to go just defense and an offensive guy. You know what? I'll go defense first. I'll just finish it out. The most recent pickup Auburn had was yesterday. Picked up by 24/7 standards, 3-star corner Rayshawn Pleasant out of Tulane. Of course, he's a sophomore, so he got 2 more years of eligibility after going into this season. So 1 and then 2. Last season for the Green Wave, registered 35 tackles, 3 pass deflections, had 1 interception against Southeastern Louisiana. That 1 interception went 100 yards for a touchdown. And another great thing about what you're getting out of Pleasant, what you're pleasantly getting out of Pleasant, I guess would be the thing. Pleasantly getting out of Rayshawn. Whatever works best there. Whatever works best for like a graphic there. You get a return man. You're getting a return man. And last season for the Green Wave, 13 attempts for 440 yards, 2 touchdowns. Count them, 2 touchdowns. No, that was number 1 in the American Conference, but it was also number 1 in the nation. So 2 return touchdowns. Of course, last time I got a return guy was Brian Battie. Never got a touchdown with Auburn. And you know, Auburn this offseason, Auburn is really kind of focused around Malcolm Simmons, Eric Singleton, and Will Upton as the guys taking the kick returns and the punt returns more than likely. I guess really punt returns. I don't really know kick returns, but you got to think with a guy like Rayshawn who had 2 touchdowns last year, he's more than likely going to be that dude Auburn looks towards early and often for kick returns. I've always loved having a DB do it because when a DB does it, it's, you know, they aren't worn out when they go back on the field. But it's a massive pickup for Auburn to get another DB. Of course, the DBs have been kind of I don't want to say a rotating door, but you've lost a lot of DBs this offseason. I think it's 4. It's Terrence Love, it's C.J. Johnson, it's Tyler Scott, and there's a 4th one in that mix there. But Auburn's lost some DBs, and of course, like I mentioned, beating a dead horse here. When you have a defensive coach that loves to rotate guys in and out every so often, keeping fresh legs, keeping guys from getting exhausted, it helps to have DBs galore. And I think Rayshawn Pleasant's a great pickup. I mean, watching highlights of him, dude's quick. Dude is fast. I think it's a very good pickup. You're looking at next year, you got Jalen Crawford and Jalen Crawford. Make sure I got it right that time. No, I messed up on Sunday show. You got Jay Crawford, and of course, you got Kai and Lee are going to be your 1 and 2 guys. I want to say it's Champ Anthony at that nickel position, and Caleb Harrison and Kinsley Falston at the safeties. But with that being said, I mean, you want to have a constant rotation of those guys. And I think that's a really great pickup for Coach Crime Dog and, of course, DJ Durkin. So that's all the defensive guys. Of course, the last guy Auburn picked up, last but not least, Malachi Harris, offensive line out of Austin P. Coming in from last year, he was a freshman, so you got some years of eligibility to work with there with 3. He is 6'2", 357 pounds. Got a big offensive guard there. One huge thing about a fun fact about Malachi Harris is his older brother is Hezekiah Harris, of course, a 2026 4-star linebacker commit. And Auburn's been doing this lately where you've gone after trying to get the brothers of commits on the team. And I love the family atmosphere there. And I want to assume it helps with recruiting a lot. Because, I mean, you got the Fegans, you got Marcus Harris's little brother plays Blake Blockton. So you got a lot of brothers. I think Auburn even posted about it on like sibling day or something. It's been it's funny. You get the Keldrick, you got the Falks. There you go, Keldrick and JJ. So yeah, I think it's a good pickup just for getting more bodies on offensive line. Of course, you lost Braden Joyner. I think it's a pickup to kind of go at that one, trying to fill in that spot. Getting a guard, and of course has to roll Auburn, struggle with over the past few years. Offensive lines, and position group in general, Auburn has struggled with. So looking at it, I mean, I think it's a really good pickup for the fact that Auburn needs guys to continue this trend of constantly keeping guys fresh. Don't need injuries on the offensive line. The offensive line has looked pretty good through the spring. I can't wait to see Xavier Chaplin get to play. I think he's probably going to end up being the best pickup out of this transfer portal class when it's all said and done. Getting a good left tackle on the portal is such a rare find, and I think Auburn actually struck gold. There we go. Let me not put the actually or Midas in there. I think Auburn struck gold with Xavier Chaplin. It's a massive pickup for an offensive line that needed a left tackle excruciatingly bad. So I can't wait to see how his offensive line looks. I think Malachi Harris is going to fit in very nicely wherever his role is. I mean, he's a big dude. He's a big dude. It's going to be really hard to move him out of the way. So those are the 5 pickups Auburn's gotten this week. So those are how those guys fit in. I mean, I don't think you got any starters out of the spring. I think it's very hard to say that after, you went through spring practice. You kind of have your guys already set in stone. Not set in I don't say that wet. Set in wet cement. They're set in wet cement, and it's kind of like, do you move them or do you let it dry? That's kind of where it's at right now. I think these guys all fill in the depth category going forward. I mean, I think the highest one up in anything would be Rashawn Pleasant. He'll probably be one of the first few guys on the field, but they're gonna have a whole new secondary every other play just about on the field. But great pickups all around. I mean, dude, I don't think Auburn has not had a bad transfer in yet. Football, men's basketball, and women's basketball wise, all 3 coaches have done a very good job there. But that's going to do it for that little segment. We're going to go a quick little break. Other side of this break, we are going to talk about the NFL draft because that is going on tonight. Hence why I'm wearing my Xavier Legette jersey that I got last year, December, last calendar year, when I went to the Panthers game. So stay tuned, and we shall be right back with NFL draft and some more transfer portal talk. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Are you tired of having to rummage through just clothes after clothes after clothes looking for something to wear? Are you tired of your friends making fun of you for your terrible fashion sense? Well, do we have the shirt for you? Go to thewarreport.com, get your laptop out and do it right now. Go to the shop and get your very own Feelin' Loopy t-shirt as well as your college loop hat, and you can get both of them for only $25 each. Plus shipping and handling, of course. But with that, now back to your regular scheduled program.
Of course, it's available on thewarreport.com. Go to the shop and you'll find your Feelin' Loopy t-shirts as well as your college loop hat. Most comfortable items you wear in your entire life. Go check that out today. Of course, if you're rocking the merch, don't forget to use hashtag Feelin' Loopy on all social media platforms. That way we know you're rocking the merch wherever you're doing it. If you're going out to eat with the fam, let us know. Of course, use hashtag Feelin' Loopy in all aspects of your life because we're Auburn fans. We boogin a lot, and we always feeling loopy. And of course, don't forget to check us out on social media platforms, literally all of them. Go follow us there. And of course, I mean, and again, that's the best way to support the channel. You can buy the merch. I love it. You go a tear up whenever you buy the merch, but the best way to support the channel, of course, by liking the video, commenting on the video, and of course, by subscribing to the channel. Appreciate every single one of y'all that have already done so. So as we move on, the NFL draft is tonight in beautiful Green Bay, Wisconsin. I say beautiful. I've never been to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And of course, there are some Tigers that are going to be waiting to see if their name gets heard throughout this 3-day affair. Of course, those guys are going to be Eugene Asante, Jarquez Hunter, Jalen McLeod, and, of course, Keandre Lambert-Smith are the 4 guys I've heard the most about going forward. Philip Bleedy actually has had a surprise kind of turnaround due to his great pro day performance that he had. So what have I been hearing thus far from all these mock drafts? Of course, I'm a sicko, and I love watching the draft. I watch all 3 days of it, all 7 rounds, trying to keep up, making sure that the Tigers are heavily represented in the NFL. I think mostly I've seen Jarquez Hunter he's been thrown around the most. Mostly seen as like a day 3 prospect, a 4 or 5 or 6 rounder, which I think is a load of crap. Because if you ask me, Jarquez Hunter, what he did last season with the offensive line of the team he had and the offense that he's been playing with for the past few years, dude can play in any system and look good. So I don't know why you would pass on him why you would pass on him for any other back that had the premier offenses around the place. He's the best running back in the SEC last year. I would die on the hill that he was one of the best running backs in the country last year. And I mean, like Ashton Gene T obviously won. And I think he got some arguments after that. That's just me. Just me. Of course, Eugene Asante, another guy, has been mentioned a few times. I think mostly I've seen him as like a Mr. Irrelevant pick, which, I mean, I don't hate that. I think it really puts a chip on his shoulder going forward. And of course, Eugene plays like there's a chip on his shoulder no matter what he's doing. That's something I love about Eugene, the pinnacle of an Auburn guy through and through. Really, everybody in this draft class from Auburn is. I can't wait to see where Eugene goes. He's probably gonna be he's gonna be a very fun player to play with in Madden. I won't be playing it, but believe me, if he's on whatever team you want to play as, believe me, you get Eugene in there as soon as possible. Keandre Lambert-Smith, I've seen kind of antsy about him. Of course, I'm big on Keandre Lambert-Smith. I think he got heavily underrated because of just, he played for Auburn. He didn't play for Ohio State. He didn't play for all these big schools, these big names. He didn't get 1,000 yards like Tutorio McMillan did. But I think Keandre Lambert-Smith is going to surprise a lot of people whenever he steps on the field for the first time. I truly believe that. He was so good for Auburn. And going forward, I mean, dude, he is going to make somebody very happy. Whether he's a day 3 guy or he is an undrafted free agent and he gets picked up right away, he's going to do some damage. Jalen McLeod, again, another guy, and Philip Bolito kind of merged these into. I've seen them sparingly in the 7th round. Again, those are 2 guys. McLeod being a high-energy guy, a high motor, would not be a bad development pick or a development signing, trying to see if he can make it through spring practice. And the OTAs, I think he can. I'm going to be a little biased, but of course, I've watched these guys play for minimum 2 years. But from what I've seen, I mean, dude, that I haven't seen anybody better. Philip Bleedy, another guy, high motor, high energy, very athletic defensive tackle. I mean, he's one of those guys that you could see being one of those talked about undrafted free agents years down the line. The way he has held himself up and has shown out whenever he is needed to. Of course, whenever he got healthy, dude was a menace on the field. And if he can stay healthy, and he's going to be an asset to any team he gets picked up by. Again, I could see any of these guys getting drafted, but again, there's a chance none of them could get drafted, and I had to sit there with a bunch of graphics that are just waiting for a team to get put on there, which we don't want to see. We want to see graphics get posted by the College League. We want to get the nice little notification, drafted or breaking, or the pick is in, Auburn running back, Auburn linebacker, former linebacker. You want to see those. You want to see those graphics. The graphics look nice. They look very nice. So that's going to do it for the football segment. I wish every single Auburn Tiger in the draft portal the best of luck. Even if you don't get drafted or even if you don't get signed, you get your whole life ahead of you. So with that, I'm going to move on to the remainder of the show. Talk about some women's basketball for a second because they have been killing it. Coach Vickers has been on a roll. Sanaya Richardson has committed to the Tigers. 4-star guard flipped her from SMU. A do-it-all guard, I must say. Jemiah Harris has also transferred in from Texas State last season for the Bobcats. 10.2 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, with 2 years of eligibility remaining. And of course, another great pickup is, returning some players. We mentioned, I done blanked on the names, but Caitlin Duhan has announced that she'll be returning to the Tigers. Vickers had some great plans for what to utilize her, how to utilize her in the scheme going forward. And, the roster is slowly looking like it's going to be competitive in year 1, ? Which, I mean, that's all you can ask for. I mean, that's massive to take a roster from, 0 to competitive. It is not a feat to blink your eyes over. This is a great turnaround at what you're seeing. And of course, Coach Jay, again, I will die on the hill that I think she got fired too early, but from what Vickers has done, I mean, I'm sold. But I wish Coach Jay the best of luck in her future career with Baylor. I mean, if she's going to be a head coach again, and she's gonna, she's going to get some respect down the line from everybody, and she's earned it. She deserved it. Injuries suck. Injuries cost her a lot last season, and again, wish her the best of luck. And, of course, to round out the show, Auburn softball getting the dub over South Alabama. Massive win. It didn't look like it was going to look like we were going to do a draw, is what it looked like for the longest time. But a great win for Auburn softball as they continue to round out their year. This week, I don't have the schedule up in front of me. It's been a good idea to have that pulled up right away. But I do believe their last no, never mind. The next weekend. Next weekend is their last the weekend series. This week's their last SEC series before they take on the NC State in the War Eagle Classic, and then they got SEC tournament, which is going to be in Athens, Georgia, which is disgusting and gross. But regardless, and after that, you got regionals, and I don't know if where Auburn stands in that. I know Auburn baseball is like up there to host the first round of the baseball for baseball. But I'll be interested to see how everything looks. I need to go look up some bracketologies. Auburn has a 28-20 record, of course, after starting red hot on the year. But conference record has not been kind to them. It has not been kind whatsoever. But looking forward to the future of Auburn softball. Can't lie, it's probably my third favorite sport out of Auburn, I think. It goes football, men's basketball, softball, gymnastics is probably 4. Which highest ranked ending to a season ever by Auburn gymnastics. Hello, number 11. Shout out Auburn gymnastics. Of course, the future is bright for everything. School conversation is back on because Auburn is outdoing everybody. Of course, Auburn golf this week. SEC record for the lowest score in the first round had a -16. Listen. I'm not good at golf. I'm not even good at top golf. I can barely hit the dang ball. I don't even know what I would. I want to go play 18 rounds of golf just to see what my score would be. And here's the thing: when I get that score, I'm not posting it anywhere because there's no way I'd be posting that score. But I might let y'all know. Regardless, that's the plan for the summer. But that being said, that's going to do it for some of the College League podcast. So thank you all for tuning in to the show. Don't forget to use hashtag Fill in Loop if you're hanging out with us. Of course, I'm Dylan Larck on Twitter. Check me out on Instagram as well at Dylan Larck, DYLAN-LARCK. Prepare the birthday wishes. Those are coming up very, very soon. I'll be 25 years old in just 4 days. 4 days, and I'm 25 years old. Very cool. But thank you all for tuning in for the start of the College League podcast yet again. Check us out on social media platforms, every single one of them: Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works. All those at the College Loop. Check us out on check us out on the audio versions of the show on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and don't forget, right here on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. What do you think of the pickups Auburn picked up? What do you think of the transfers Auburn picked up during the spring cycle? I don't know if Auburn's done yet. I don't know how the portal works anymore. The guys who are still in, I think, can still commit. So, but I don't know if Auburn really needs much more. I don't really know if I think they hit all the spots they needed to hit, got the positions they needed to get, and I'm just rhyming at this point. So I'm gonna let y'all go. Thank you all for tuning in to some of the College League podcast yet again. Cannot overstate how thankful I am for every single one of you subscribe to the channel, that follow the social media platforms, that do all the things to support us over here at the College Loop. Thank you all for tuning in. And as always, War Eagle.